Hi everybody, this is Dan, the House of Broken Dobbs Things. Welcome back. We're going to call this one Shaper Part 2, the Vise. As we talked last time, the Vise had a little hiccup to it, but I also wanted to go through a couple of attributes around this thing that it has by design. Probably should just have a quick chat. Let me get a couple of things going here. Okay, just a quick snapshot from the base to the top of the jaws. It's right at 4 3/4 to 5 inches. That's quite a bit of height. As you mentioned, I was grumpy about that during the last episode, saying it sits up pretty high and it gobbles up a lot of space. Well, it does. So I'm going to keep on the Vise, and then I'm going to show you the base without it, and it actually looks a lot more attractive. So changing up the Vise or changing it around with another Vise would probably give at least probably a good 2 inches worth of workable space. That would be very important depending on how big a part is you're working on. Okay, so moving on beyond that one, but again, like 4 3/4 to 5 inches tall. I didn't do anything other than unbolt it. You see that it's only bolted down in 2 places. That's okay, I guess, which is fine. I mean, it's on a rotating base. Now let's get into it, and I'm just going to give this one, it's old and it was very inexpensive and it was meant to be done with crude tools, and it shows. So let's get into the inside. So you'll notice, first thing off, the pivot bolt on the bottom side. Well, that's not real easy to get to, but all right, put that aside. More importantly, there is no washer or any type of anything on this one to facilitate the sliding. So kind of somewhat of a crude bolt. Doesn't look to be a hardened bolt either, which is fine for the job it's in. But let's just put it to the one side. Let's pull this off, give you a look on the inside. Okay. I don't even know what's going on in here. That looks to be kind of a carbon-based something. I have no idea. The outside of it is a greasy, rusty slime, which is fine, but you'll notice there's no real bearing surface. Well, what do you mean? Well, I'm looking at it. Where was it riding? It has been moved a few times since I've had it, but largely I don't know where it was bearing on. So again, this is a participation class for anybody joining on the channel. If you have some thoughts, again, really good feedback on the very first video. Just a few viewers so far, but we got a lot of comments on it, and that's really exactly what I wanted. I want you guys to jump in here and say, well, yeah, I've got an idea, I've got a thought. Thank you, Neil, for yours. Danny, thank you for the encouragement, as well as a few other viewers on that one, and we'll call you out a little later in the episode. But I just wanted to get this off and get a quick start at it. I'm going to try to keep these videos short. So Dan, you're not doing that because you keep talking. I understand, but I just want to get this apart, and now I'm going to get into the part that we really took this off for, okay? Hold on one second. Okay, down inside you can see what we found, and let me put a little bit extra light on that. Okay, you can see that we have what looks to be the retainer, and you see a set screw which is drilled off at a kind of a wobbly angle. At the same time, you can kind of see, well, you have to see it from my angle. I don't think the hole is bored all that straight. And if you look at it, well, let's get a pointing instrument, Dan. There we go. You ever notice mechanics can just turn around and grab something and make it work? Yeah, it's a magic trick we've all tried to get. So from here you can see the depth of this one. Not much going on. And if you look, get this chip out of the way. This side is, again, apologies. This side is much thinner than this side. I don't know if that's the way it's made, but it definitely doesn't look to be straight. And now that prompted another question, which is, it's not. Look at this. Okay. I'm just going to go to the edge. Let's change this around. Just going to go to the edge of the element here, and it looks to be about 1.5 inches. And I'm going to bet you somewhere on the other side it's a little closer to 2 inches. So this vise is drilled off center, and it looks like they followed up with drilling that hole off center. Now, maybe it was a chicken, maybe it was an egg, I don't know, but it's not straight. I didn't notice it because I've never given this much love until this point in time where we can focus on it. Now, does that change much? Not really. It's just, that looks like work I do. No, I'm kidding. So from that standpoint, when I took it apart, obviously there's not much meat here, that set screw to catch. If you look the depth of this into the depth of this groove, it was hanging on for dear life, just barely. Let me bring you back in a second. Okay, got the screw out, and then here's the actual set screw that they had. If you look at the set screw in that channel, it had quite a lot of room back and forth. Okay, it's a vise stand, it's not, but just, they could have cut that groove down by 2/3. They could have used a dog point screw, would have been probably a little better than that hard set screw, because this style is trying to pinch into the face of it. They should have used a flat one, but that's okay. This was ancient technology. But the other thing I wanted to show you is, okay, everything's on and tight. These little guide plates on the side are here. I think we could do better than that. However, we are going to be constrained by the alignment of this screw into the base. If I shift too far one way or the other as I tighten this thing up, it's going to be a problem. So then it becomes a debate. Work on this one, give it some love, or you know, probably even think about using another vise. Well, you would have to have one, wouldn't you, Dan? Yep. I got probably 3 or 4. Well, how'd you get them? Well, when the economy was tanking in the U.S., I was paying attention. And as folks were cleaning out their inventories, I was gathering unto me everything I could find machine tool-wise. But you're a mechanic. Why would you do that? Because I knew one day I would want to do this. So here we are. So from this one, we have some options. Looking forward to some input from anybody on these side plates. These probably could be made out of, well, steel's fine. We probably could tighten it up if we can maintain that arrangement. Again, the set screw, it is what it is. Could probably be an upgrade to do that, but I need to take a look at this specifically. The other part of this one is, this has this mangled homemade square on the end of it. So is it worth saving? Let me check the pitch on these threads. Okay, diameter's right at 1/2 inch, and it's measuring up with 13, sorry. 1/2 13, so it's conventional thread, it's not Acme, nothing crazy like that. So, okay, that's not special. That's actually good news and bad news. So it's nothing special, can be replaced. I'm thinking we ought to either turn this off, start over, and do something nice, or I don't know. We'll take a look at it. But as far as the cast threads inside, it's not really super well done. I mean, the threads, in the housing are not anything I'd call tight, but it's a vise. It's not doing anything spectacular. I don't think we're going to have any problem with it slipping or anything, but as you progress, I mean, it's not awful. So we will put that down on the list of options to take a look at, but we know what caused it. Here, the set screw was backed out, but we also know that on its best day, it won't be that good. So what are we going to do about it? So I don't like the fact that that is so thick. I mean, it's not a deal breaker, but it's there. And then two, I don't like the fact that this is all drilled off center, but you know what? It's game over for that. This cast iron, I'm not welding that up and turning it again or putting a new hole in it. That's just not going to happen. So hold on, let me get this out and you get a better look at it. Probably anybody from space can probably see that those are two different lengths. Height-wise, they're pretty good. Lengthwise, they're not so good. And I think you can probably see why that doesn't sit square. Look at the offset here versus the offset here. Bring those in close to each other. Okay. I'm not knocking, okay? I'm just saying that, yeah, that's probably why it sits the way it sits. They poked the hole wrong, that's okay. But they also drilled these off, which is putting it into that opportunity to have that wobble. Okay. Take this off. I knew that was going to happen. Okay. So here you get to see down inside. And again, there's a lot of folks looking for this particular vise. Well, I mean, 12 of us in the world. Working Lewis. There you kind of get what I was grouching about. Woo! That's off center. Okay. There you get a better view of that one too. Yeah, I think Pop had a couple of pops that night when they were putting this together. Now this hole might have been there from the factory. I doubt it. I'd have to look at the print. I think it's on there what to do to drill and tap it, but okay. It is what it is. Any ideas? We're going to call the vise. We can assemble it. We can change a little of the wobbliness. We know what's causing that. We know what's causing it not to retract properly. These can be remade quickly and easily to help center it, but again, we'll have to play with that to find out what the right angle is on that. Okay, we didn't look at the jaws, did we? It doesn't have a hardened jaw. That's going straight to cast. And you can see it's got some marks. Looks like you can see the machining marks from long, long ago. Oh, come here, you. And you can see whatever those marks were from long, long ago. So it could benefit also from some hardened jaws, or at least a soft jaw would be even nice too, to have that option to put it in there. But I think that's it for this quick look. We can figure out what we're going to do, but let's see what the team says. Again, this is meant to be participatory. If you're watching the video, feel free to put in your 10 cents. I'm looking for guidance. One of the best ways to learn is to be humble and ask. So I'm asking, what do you think the best approach would be? That would be easy to remake and turn that into something else, something probably a little nicer. I could turn it down. I'm just thinking out loud. Turn it down from a larger piece. Give myself a nice boss on the end of this one to put a nice handle going through that and get rid of that crank handle thing. And then turn this down to something respectable. change that set screw into like a dog screw. That could actually improve this one quite a bit, just on those couple of things. The other element we have is the base swivel is fine, but as we mentioned, it's pretty tall. So hold on, let me get you over there and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, there's just short of 3/4 of an inch that was left open for you to grab a wrench and loosen that center screw. So that added to a lot of this. Now, by the design being up like that, I think it's just inherently going to have a little more lack of rigidity than what I would like. Because if you look at this straight up and you get that vise out of the way, hey, there's a real respectable work surface. Okay. Again, I don't think we're anywhere near down. Yeah, we probably have it drawing about another 1/2 of an inch into that. And then we have, call it, depending on how you stack it up, you get close to, depending on how you adjust that tool height, you probably have close to 10 inches of height working flat off the table, as opposed to here. And there. That would, well, theoretically, that'd knock out about 3 inches out of your potential just by that vise. So you can take it off. Okay, I agree. I agree. And then do what? We got some work to do. There are 3 holes. That's it. I believe there was more work to be done that they didn't do it. There, that's the one off my Bridgeport I use on my Rockwell, one of them. And, well, it kind of overwhelms it. So that's a little too much vise. What else do you got? Yeah, no, but heck no. I know Michelle's shaking his head. Oh no. Been there, done that. It's a lot of work. Forget about that one. No, Dan. Okay, in my defense, I really didn't even buy this one. This was, a friend of mine called me from a yard sale. Hey, Dan, I just saw this thing and what is it again? Oh, okay, yeah, that sounds really cool. For any of you who have been as unfortunate as I have to own one of these things, they are the epitome of, well, shite. It's like, yeah, sorry if this is all you've got. I'm sorry. Sorry, I don't mean to make fun, but they've just got slack everywhere you can imagine. I'm sure we could probably make a project of making it better, but no. No, Dan. Side note, are you compensating for something, Dan? Because it's almost as big as the frickin' shaper. I know. Better, but it needs something to hold it down. Henceforth, one of those cool plates would be great. It sucks for clamping, but what if it had T-slots in it? Is that, what, 3/4 of an inch or so? Might be a little thin for the T-slotting. Hey, that's a little thicker. That could be T-slotted, I guess. All right, now that's got real possibilities to give it options. Cool. Okay, so we will wrap this one up. We didn't finish anything on the vise, but we talked about it. I think I've given you some highlights of what's wrong. I'd be interested in what you have to say. The next step will be to probably go ahead and get this table off. It's going to come off in just a couple minutes, and then we can kind of give you some dimensional sketch of it and then see what we can come up with. I'm very jealous of Michelle and the way his is set up. He's went ahead and built the plates on the side. I have no problem with bolting through. This is not parallel, so you know. And there's a big hump right down inside of here in the middle of the casting on one side but not the other. I had a thought that they might have messed up. These look a little wonky here on the side, and this is cut and it looks very similar to the slot that's in the back side. I'll show you that when we take that off. But so again, this is Dan from House of Broken Dobbs. Thanks. I appreciate your help. Let's take a couple of thoughts on that vise, see what you think. We can fix the one that was on there, make it workable. It's still going to be too tall. So if you have any thoughts around how to overcome that, that'd be great. And any ideas of how you think we should fix it? I think as of right now, it's a tragedy the way it's set up. Being drilled off center has kind of made it kind of an orphan. But it works. It would work fine. I think the best, well, I'll kind of hold that off until we talk next time. But as of right now, I think I'm looking for your input to see where we can go. I wasn't kidding about a group project, guys. Really, seriously. Thanks for watching.